Have you ever wondered why African countries don't move forward? They don't do good. They don't look great. They don't provide for the people. If you ever asked yourself a question to know why? Have you ever asked yourself why so many African people run away from Africa, trying to find a better life elsewhere, trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea? You see, there's a lot of Sub-Saharan Africans. Sub-Saharans are black people from Sub-Saharan Africa. Black, there are many types of Africans. Some look quite light-skinned, Arabic, like Northern Africans, and you get Sub-Saharan Africans. Even though Northern Africans also trying to cross the sea, Mediterranean Sea, to go to Europe. They don't do it as much as the black people. Have you ever wondered why Africa is such a rich continent? Gold, diamonds, lithium, uranium, all the stuff that you need for technology in the lands, and people are still trying to run away, looking for opportunities in America where there's no uranium, or in France where there's no uranium. Matter of fact, France need to buy uranium from colonized African country so they can make electricity for themselves. Do you know why? Because African people are corrupt. I know you thought colonialism and all that stuff, neo-colonialism, white people need to leave us alone. It's bull crap. White people have done a lot of good things, and I know you hate hearing this. As much as they've done bad things, they've done good things. Have you been to South Africa? It's a beautiful country. Nice infrastructure, functioning hospitals. It's not because of the black people. I'm sorry. I know you're going to get pissed off. You're here. They're going to come here saying, talk about your country. Why are you talking about our country? As much as, no, don't get me wrong. My black South African people have done a lot of great things. They participated in a building, but the mastermind were the white people. Look at some of the countries. Just look at Africa. Look at the rest of Africa. My brother, okay, you put aside perhaps one or two countries. Let's respect Rwanda and some other countries. The majority of African countries are shithole countries. I'm sorry. You're going to get pissed off, but I'm always going to tell you the truth. Here we tell the truth. We don't sugarcoat. Look, my brother, if you're looking for a channel where you're going to hear people talk about nice things about Africa, you're at the wrong place. Not here. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are appreciated. My name is Zack. You're welcome. We want you here. We want you to stay. Here we talk about the truth. And sometimes it sounds like bashing each other, but all for the good. Some people get touchy and whatever, especially Nigerians and South Africans. When you talk about the countries, they will remind you, don't talk about my country. You must talk about your own country. Or they call you mumu. But yeah, the end goal is to wake everybody up. And most of the times, the ones with the brains understand the goal. Africa is doing bad because of the black people. I know this sounds weird, but corruption. I'm not saying white people don't get corrupt, but the corruption of level of Africans, it's another level. They create even mafias in government. Can you imagine? A government with its own mafia. So a government is cooperating with mafia people, with dangerous people who are bringing drugs in the country, but they're making it sound like some foreigners from another countries are bringing drugs. But the government people are very much involved. That's Africa for you. Now, some of you will say, well, this doesn't only happen in Africa. It happens everywhere in the world. Maybe you're right, but it's not oblivious to any other situation. And it's not obvious to any other things. At least other countries seem to be developing infrastructure, service delivery. There's water for everybody, electricity 24 hours. There's food, there's jobs. Well, Africans have no jobs because politicians are busy looting, stealing, taking from the people. Africans are not progressing, building, creating because the politicians are eating with their friends and their families and the second wife and the third wife and the fourth wife and the sixth wife. Other people are stealing too, yes, but they're building roads, making sure the airport is neat. The hospital is convenient for everybody. There's free healthcare for some of the people in some of the countries. I'm not talking about America here. You know what I'm saying? But Africa could get more than that. Africa is enough to provide free healthcare for everybody. Africa is more than enough to provide electricity for everybody. Look at this country. It's called the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. The country has a hydroelectrical barrage. Inga. This Inga machine right here can produce electricity. Enough electricity for the entire Africa. Africa will never lack of electricity anymore. Just using this one. And it could cooperate with many countries in providing electricity and getting paid. It's not functioning. Why? Because number one, corruption. Okay, African countries, look at Nigeria, corrupt. Okay, it's crazy because in some countries in Africa, you see mayhem happening, people shooting each other, there's rebels. But people in government are actually giving the rebels weapons so they can start the havoc. Once the rebels start the havoc, then they contract them as contract to go and fight the rebels. These are the truth, I'm telling you. And I know people don't like hearing the truth. I talk about things you don't understand. You don't understand nothing. You don't understand nothing. That's why you come here, because you don't. Thank you very much. You appreciate it. Okay, today we're talking about Senegal. Have you heard of Senegal before? It's a beautiful place, lovely country. Here's the map. Senegal is lovely. By the coast, very peaceful. One of the best democracy in Africa. One of the most peaceful country in Africa. No wars, no Boko Haram, none of that. Everybody's happy. Okay, the Senegalese women are beautiful. Look at the dark skins on. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at this one. And this one. And this one. Well, you find some that bleach their skin as well. They look white. They want to be like white people. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, it's a disease in many African countries where people feel like looking beautiful, you have to look like you're white. I mean, you see that in America as well, among the black Africans, African Americans, sorry. Great stuff. So in Senegal, they voted a brand new law. What is the law about? The Senegalese parliamentarians have adopted a law to protect whistleblowers in order to strengthen transparency in the country. A promise made by the government that came in power in April 2024. Congratulations. Pigama coffee. Yeah, you got a pigama coffee on this one. You must clap your hand. Pigama coffee is clap your hand in Swahili. And Swahili, once again, is the most spoken language in Africa. Spoken in all these countries here. Maybe you should consider learning it. We'll always repeat this. Don't get bored. This channel is not about you. I know you heard about this before, but many people come every single day. They need to know what Swahili is about. It's our language. We need to speak about it. Now, this is Senegal. Like I said before, they voted a brand new law. Senegal has become the first French-speaking African sub-Saharan country to adopt such law. Congratulations. Congratulations. They've adopted a law to protect whistleblowers. You know what happened to whistleblowers before? They get beat up, then unalived. They beat you up first, okay? Then if you continue, they unalive you. Like I said to you, it's all mafia. I'm sorry, most African countries are run by mafia, okay? And sometimes the government act like, oh, I didn't know that, but it's crazy, okay? Now, whistleblowers are not protected because when you go blow the whistle, you end up being the victim. That's why people choose to shut up. They can't tell when somebody got a tender. You know what a tender is? A tender for the people. I know some of you are very smart. Not all of us are very smart. So we need explanation. A tender could be the government want to achieve a task like building an hospital, but the government does not have the time or the capacity to do it. But the government has the fund. So the government will supply the money to individuals who are capable of delivering a brand new good-looking hospital. And that's a tender. So they will bring the tender. So we have a tender for an hospital. Who can do it? And people present themselves with their qualification and their experience and capacities. Then the government official will choose who get the tender. However, tenders are gifted to people in advance. So the person who's going to choose who's going to get the tender is contacted by somebody already, okay? And the person say, hey, if you give me the tender, I'll give you 20%. Or the person who's accepting the tender, designing who's going to get the tender, contact his own people. Say, listen, we have a tender here, but you need to know the tender is about $10 million. Just an example. I am getting 50% out of this. Are you okay? Oh, no, 50%. It's not going to be possible because I have to achieve this. No, not you. Then I'm finding somebody else. That's what it is. Now, if somebody sees that and goes and report us as a whistleblower, you know what happens to him? They will, they will send people to go beat the living hell out of him. That's if he's lucky. If not, unalive him, because the people who distributing the tenders doesn't want his business to die. So it's not really about delivering the hospital to the people. It's about him and his stomach. I'm using the hospital as an excuse to make myself richer. And whoever stands on the way against me, I will unalive. That's Africa for you, my friend. Let nobody tell you lies. Africa is beautiful, but I will always tell you the truth. I'll always tell you the truth. That's the bottom line. Now, Senegal has come up with something new. They're going to protect the whistleblowers. The new law was passed as part of a legislative package by President Bassirou Diomaye Faye and Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, who took office in April 2024 with a strong anti-corruption platform. So these two guys here, Bassirou Faye and Sonko, are very good friends. In matter of fact, the Sonko is Prime Minister, Faye is the President. Sonko was supposed to be the President, but Sonko was accused, the justice found him guilty for inciting violence, which was absolute crap. He didn't even do that. But they didn't want him to be the president. So he and his political party was excluded for the election. He went to find his mate who was in prison to represent himself as a president, but as an independent candidate. But he received the support from his political party. That's how they won the election. So they've come to power looking to change things completely. And they are young, they're in their 40s, they want brand new things. Now my question is, should Africa be handed to 40-year-old down people? Because look at Traore. You love him. He's 37 years old. He's doing good things. These people are doing good things. Maybe Africa's tired of old people. What do you think about that? Whistleblowers can report the information anonymously if they wish. Number one, through internal channels within the government department. External channels or externally to the relevant authorities. Obviously, in order to get Africans moving toward the direction, there must be money. Imali, Chelete, Mbogo, Franga, Mali, Pesa, Feza, same thing. People will get rewards on the accusation they present. Those who report information that lead to recovery of illicit funds or asset will receive a reward of 10% of the amount recovered. Congratulations! Yes! Imagine recovering $10 million. Huh? That's a lot of money. That's a good motivator. Africa needs these type of laws. You need to tap into people's mentality and get them to be working. This is a good thing. Now, why has this been done? Wade is the president, old president, Abdoulaye Wade era. Now, this is an older president of Senegal, okay? Back in time, he was accused of massive embezzlement and misuse of public funds. The man even had his son. His son named Karim Wade. The people call him Mr. 15, because he was notorious. He allegedly asked for 15% cut from every major government contract. This is the son of the president, of this old president. He asked for 15% on every contract, every deal from the government. Insane. The guy was taken to court back in time. Following his father's ousting, his father was kicked out. He was replaced by this guy named Mwekassa. Mwekassa took him to court. And the guy was charged for $240 million and he was sentenced in 6 years in prison back in time. So imagine a guy taking 15% of every government contract. Now, however, he didn't serve 6 years in prison. He only served 3 years, and after 3 years, the same president pardoned him and let him out. And now the guy's into politics again. Now, Mwekassa, this very same guy that conducted measures against the previous president, his government was also accused of corruption and embezzlement. They did some crazy stuff. And also, there was allegation of nepotism with family members appointed in government position and scandal involving Mwekassa's brother related to gas field contracts. You see, Africans, they always bring their cousins and their brothers. They think countries belong to them. Yeah, that's Africans. When they get in power, they call their cousins and that's why Africa is on the ground, the gutter. You would never speak about development in Africa without talking about behavior. Before you grow the African man, you need to slap him awake. I'm telling you the truth. Every country in Africa should have a minister of education. And when we're talking about education, we're talking about school education. We're talking about education like this. Slap people in the face. And on the ground, if somebody that you make him do hard work in the street, that's I would have said slap him in the butt. But yeah, you make him do hard work like Ibrahim Traore is doing in this country. If you violate the traffic light, you know what they do? They don't send you to jail anymore. They don't ask you to pay, fines anymore for over speeding. You're going to go in the street and clean the street. That's how you need to deal with Africans. They hate that. And that will get them on track because paying is like, I will just pay. No, you need to make them do things. Now, the current government has also made this brand new law to try to get things back in track. Why? Because this guy here, Mwekassa, his government took a lot of money from COVID relief. You remember COVID relief? When COVID came, government needed to put money together to help people to stay home, right? People were asked to stay home. You stay home, avoid COVID and stuff like that. And people couldn't stay home like that. They needed to eat, so the government provided money for food in some instances. In some places, they gave them money, cash. Some businesses got some money to function, continue working. The money in some places came from the government. In some other places came from external bodies like IMF and stuff. They provided a lot of money. My man, in COVID, many Africans became rich. Rich, not through this all nyoga stuff. So this guy, Mwekassa, they ate a lot of money. And now, in Africa, we say eat money. Eat money is you spent money. He ate my money. That guy ate my money. I must go make him throw it up. This brand new government is doing everything to make things change. And they're taking this previous government into accountability. They need to show where the money went. That's why they're protecting everybody. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. Hey, YouTube say a lot of you guys watch videos, but you're not subscribed. I don't know why you're not subscribed. I like this channel. I like you too. We're a family. Please subscribe, drop a comment so we know you're there. God bless. I love that bomb. Listen to it. 1, 2, 3.